All right, so thanks for joining me here on my property in Broken Head. So we have had a truckload of rain lately. It has just rained for about 3 weeks, it feels like. And one thing that's very clear is that people's tolerance for rain is a lot less than people's tolerance for sunshine. But today, the sun is out. I don't know if you can see that on my face. If you're listening to the podcast, then obviously not. But the sun is finally out, and what I want to bring to your attention is this particular situation down here. Now, I'm going to flip over the cameras and hopefully that's going to be successful. But for those of you who cannot see what is going on there, that is my truck stuck at the bottom of my property. And you might say, well, why is your truck stuck at the bottom of the property? And that's a very good question. Now, over here, you can see the septic. Now, this is, we live on a property that doesn't connect to sewerage. So we have a septic system, and this thing routinely overloads. And it's not routinely, it's in periods of high water, because up at the main house and at our cottage here, everyone just uses lots of water. Hey, there's lots of water, and this is a very different experience than when there's no water. Now, the problem is that this thing can't handle all of this water, and so it starts to alarm. And for whatever reason, and that is an important point, whatever reason, I thought I'd drive down here. Now, I've just walked down here, and it's like all of 50 or 60 meters, but I was like kind of in a bit of a state. I had an argument with my wife, and that had put me in a state of anger. And instead of walking, I thought I'd drive my truck down. And now you can see the situation. You can see how it came along, and then as I started to go up the hill, the whole thing just spun. And then trying to get it out, we've had boys down here. I've had it's my son's birthday today. Oh, no, sorry, that's incorrect. My son's birthday is on Sunday, but he's got his party today. And so we've got 5 boys here, had them. And basically we've wobbled back and forwards and ended up in this particular situation here. So you can see my attempts with the tracks. That's not working. Tried chocking it with wood, not working. And what's happened, basically, it slid all the way down, and is actually under there is a tree that just doesn't seem to have the greatest luck. Hopefully it'll come out okay, but there's a tree under there that has been run over by my mower several times. It's now sitting underneath my car. I don't know what's going to happen here, but let's come back to why this situation is actually important. Because how did this happen? How did this happen? That is a question that I am faced with right now, because suddenly I've gone from a day that was going pretty well to a day where I've messed around for half an hour trying to solve this problem. In the end, I've called my neighbor and said, mate, can you bring your tractor over? The tractor's got huge wheels with these big grooves in it. And my neighbor's awesome, and he is used to this by now. This is, I think, I've bogged my mower twice where he's had to come and get me, and then this will be the first time with a truck. But anyway, why this is important is because you are dealing with situations like this in your business all the time. You just don't know it. And it's not that this happened. It's like, how did this happen at all? Like, why was there not a thought process that said, no, there's a risk here of bogging this vehicle? And that never occurred to me because I was angry at the time and I just never expected it. But instead of going from a relatively simple job of turning off an alarm, now this is turned into a much bigger job of how to retrieve the truck out of the bog. And this should have been dealt with. This could have been dealt with if I had thought through it. But human beings tend not to do that. I didn't do it. I did not do it, and now I'm stuck with a bog truck. What can be done about this? Now, if we take this out of this particular unusual situation, but rather apply it to businesses, then I want to suggest that putting up guardrails is actually a really good idea. And by that, I mean hey, before you go and do this thing that could cause major problems, let's set up a guardrail where at least you've got to stop and go, no, no, do not proceed. It's a bit like skiing when they put up the ropes and like, don't go beyond this because there's an avalanche risk, because there's a cliff face, because there's a danger that may not be visible on the front, but is actually visible when you get over there. And somebody's actually gone ahead and said, hey, danger, stop. Don't do this. And this is one of the roles of systems in your business. It's to stop the mayhem. It's stop the chaos, to stop the loss and waste that can happen when simple things go badly wrong. This was not meant to happen. This wasn't even a target. What I was trying to do is turn off the septic. Instead, I've got this big major problem. Now, if I'd had a little blockage, I'd said, hey, don't proceed, bogged, or I'd even stop to think about the risks of this and go, hang on, I need to assess the risks here. But that's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with human beings. I'm a human being and I do dumb stuff. Like, it's like, wow, how did I do such a dumb thing? The real question is, okay, next time will I learn? And that's okay. Next time it needs to be in my mind, hey, it's super wet, don't take the vehicle there. Or I need to get some badass truck tires on my vehicle so it doesn't get stopped. Either way, the system has to change. And this one's not going to be written down anywhere. It's not going to be procedurized. It's just going to go in the memory banks of like, hey, don't drive a four-wheel drive that's got essentially slick tires on it in a muddy, boggy field. Either don't go in, or number two, get the right tires for the job. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you can take some action around this, that you can recognize the parable here, that like, where is it in your life, in your business, that you are approaching a dangerous situation or a difficult situation where you are now having to invest lots of time and effort to recover from a difficulty that could have been avoided if the guardrails, aka systems and processes, were in place. If that's a conversation of interest to you, then head over to systemio.dev, pop in your name, pop in your email address. I'm going to wait for my tractor neighbor to arrive, retrieve this vehicle, and then hopefully we'll be heading off to the golf experience for my son's birthday. All right, you have a great day. Look forward to seeing you on another episode of this very soon.